Yeah. So like on the like let's say like the wholesaling end, my
Yeah.
biggest process, and that's kind of how my like all my deals start off with is wholesaling, meaning the marketing from wholesaling. So cold
Okay.
calling, sending out mailers. So I kind of start there step one with everything. Because
Hmm.
I've been able to take, say, one seller, because I'm calling people that are tax delinquents or pre-foreclosures or probates, that might end up
Right.
becoming an agent lead, right? Or might become a
Right.
wholesale lead. So I always start there.
To do better in their business, but I also have to.
I don't know how to do it.
Hey, everyone out there in YouTube land and Facebook, in our own Facebook group, Metro Detroit Off Market Real Estate Group. I'm really, really happy to bring on this guest today that I've known personally for a while in my wholesaling business, as well as he's helped me out a lot. I hope I've helped him as much as I can. So, um, but you know we've had him on the podcast before. It was over a year ago, so I wanted to bring him back on. If you haven't seen that prior, go back in our archives in YouTube and check it out. So without further ado, Mr. Jay Jonez, how you doing today?
What's going on, Randy Ram? I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling really good.
Awesome. So you're a not only a entrepreneur, a investor, a real estate agent, and you still have a day job.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
That is right.
one more, a
Yeah,
YouTuber as well.
and I
A
YouTube as
YouTuber as
well.
well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's never enough time in the day, man. But yeah, yep, those are my income streams, and that's what I'm working on.
That's awesome. So I'm really, really excited to kind of get your take. I every time you go live, basically I try to watch it. So,
Appreciate it.
um, when you started your channel, you started way before I did, by the way. But it was just real estate, and now you've gotten into some reaction videos as well, and but you still bring in real estate into it. So,
Absolutely.
um, you know, so why don't we get, tell us, we want to, because we've done a video before with you telling your whole origin story and everything. And if you want to check that out, please, I'll link to it somewhere if you're watching the replay, that is. But just give us a quick overview of how you got started in real estate and, how you got to where you're at now.
Yeah. So, man, now I get to really, really tell my story
Yeah.
from this vantage point, which is great. So, I started off in 2018. So I was 27 years old, and I started off wholesaling. Right.
Okay.
Like I said, like a lot of people figure out how to get started into real estate. They don't have much money, but I knew I had the hustle, I had the grind, and I was willing to
Hmm.
figure out this wholesaling thing. So I started off at 27. And for 2 years, I strictly did wholesaling. I didn't
Okay.
try to fix flip. I didn't try to do any creative financing. I just wanted to learn wholesaling, and that's all I focused on. And
Hmm.
after I wholesale and I learned that skill, I then third year started to get into my real estate license. Right. After
Hmm.
figuring out opportunities that I passed up on and how I could become more of a real estate professional and entrepreneur, I decided to become a real estate agent year 3, and in that same year, which is COVID, I was able to obtain my first fix and flip. So then I became an investor,
Okay.
and then I started fixing and flipping some homes, and I started using all those skills from wholesaling. Then I was listing properties, helping buyers find homes, as well as flipping houses. So I started to kind of mix and mingle the three and found a way to be able to do it almost kind of seamlessly, with my
Hmm.
marketing, and just be able to have multiple ways to skin a cat. Um, and so that's kind of what I'm doing. And then now I'm finally at the point of investing into rentals, and I became, I like to say, an investor landlord. And so I've got my third property, rental property that I'm working on and listed. And so then I started getting into creative financing. So I kind of slowly progressed into different things, but I started off wholesaling, which is still the foundation of my business and how
Mhm.
I learned real estate. And that's my story. And I have a 9 to 5 as well. And I still work that 9 to 5 till this day. I utilize that 9 to 5 as my business partner.
Right.
And so it's some days are very, very hard, but I just happen to figure it out, man. And so I'm able to juggle those, and it's all about time blocking for me, and that's what works. And that's kind of my story, and real estate is
And how did your YouTube follow up into that? The YouTube end.
yeah. So when I first started my YouTube journey, it was really to document the process, right?
Okay.
So
Yep.
as I was starting wholesaling, I would make videos of me going and meeting with the seller, walking through homes, and then I even started doing some of my projects. And so it
Mhm.
was document the process thing, and I enjoyed it. And then I started to, like you said, started doing more like reaction videos. I just started to pivot, right? You start figuring out certain things aren't working, what is working, and then
Yep.
I figured it out. And like you said, I always try to wrap in real estate. So I give them what they want, but I always put the medicine in the candy, is what I call it. And then I give them real estate. We talk finances and money. And that's kind of what I've been able to do. But real estate, I mean, the YouTube was always just to be able to show what I'm doing and document the
Right.
process so that I can look back and see, like, oh, wow, I've been doing this for 4 or 5 years. Look where I started. And I have done that. I
Mhm.
have done some reflection. So, and then I turn it into kind of entertainment.
Yeah, that's always good. And the thing is, the thing I like that, yeah, you did pivot to some reaction videos, but like you said, it still brings in you still tie in real estate. And it's not like these are not your opinions. They're your own opinions,
Yeah.
and you just get to get a little bit further in depth into it. So if anybody does want to go watch this channel, it is linked in the description, but it is at Real Estate Jay Jonez. Jones is with a Z, just like you see on the screen. And you check him out on YouTube. But all of his links, his Instagram, his Facebook, and his YouTube links are in the description. I did add those. So, um, you know, so with that is, you know, now you got the YouTube going, you got uh your rentals going. Now, what's your criteria for a rental to be able to cash flow? Like after everything's paid, is it a couple $100? Are you looking for a home run, like $1,000 a month?
Yeah.
Like
So
what is it you're looking for?
yeah, like minimum, I try to shoot for at least $500 a unit, right? For single
Uh,
family. And so
Yep.
that's what I aim for. Anything over that will be just excellent. But that's what I go for. So
Okay.
when I run the numbers, of course, I'm trying to make sure that, okay, yeah, if it starts off at, like the one house I have now in Oak Park, awesome deals, a subject to, it's
Mhm.
gonna make me after expenses about $700 to $800 a month, right?
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah. But when I started, I always put in my capex, my maintenance, and I'm like, after all of it
Yep.
said and done, am I gonna make at least $500 a unit, right? And so that's
Mhm.
kind of my way of doing it. When I run those numbers on a rental.
So when are you going to use these strategies and go into multifamily?
Yeah, man, that's a great question. When I feel like, I'm still early in the single family game. So I still
Okay.
want to
Okay.
continue to get up some single families, but that multifamily is like right here in the back of my head. And so I
Yep.
still want to, just like how I started off wholesaling, I just want to
Yep.
focus on just the single families, do really well, master it, go through the landlord processes, and then once I feel comfortable enough, then I definitely know I'll jump into the multifamily. So I'm just at that point where I'm just like,
Yeah.
just get your units up, to where I want to kind of cash flow a month.
Yeah.
And then I want to get into multifamily. Absolutely.
So I heard it like this that I heard it actually from Jerry Norton, who's a famous YouTuber and self-proclaimed, um, master of
Yeah.
wholesaling and all that. So,
Yeah.
but he, and I'm sure I got that saying wrong, but whatever.
I got you.
But
I got
he's
what
a
you're
great
saying.
guy to learn from. I will say that he's a great guy to learn
Absolutely.
from. So I, but he had it where, you know, think of it like a 4-year freshman, sophomore,
Mhm.
junior, senior. Okay. And freshman is like wholesaling. Okay. And it's like even parts of fix and flips, like wholetailing and things like that.
Yeah.
And then going into sophomore is like a fix and flip, being able to get as much of that possible. And then going into junior is like being able to hold rentals where you're getting
Right.
some
Right.
passive income, you know.
Mhm.
And then senior is like,
The
okay,
multis.
now we're going to multifamily where there's some
Mhm.
bigger numbers here, some bigger returns, things like that. So
Yeah,
even
absolutely.
maybe some syndications, things like,
Yeah. You can start getting a little
but
more
yeah,
advanced. But yeah, I think everything needs its own attention, and
yes,
if you happen to expand on that stream, then great. But yeah, like you said, like just start off here, do that, master it, do your thing, and then move up. And you kind of do it's like a natural progression too. I started to
yeah.
notice.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, one thing that I've noticed is, like at least for me, systems are a huge thing. Like
Mhm.
you said, the time blocking. Okay. Time blocking and systems are
Yeah.
like my two biggest things that what helps me succeed in this business. So what systems have you put in place to kind of help you manage all your everything that you're doing from your real estate business
Mm.
to your investing business to YouTube to
Yeah.
even your day job?
Yeah. So like on the like let's say like the wholesaling end, my
Yeah.
biggest process, and that's kind of how my like all my deals start off with is wholesaling, meaning the marketing from wholesaling. So cold
Okay.
calling, sending out mailers. So I kind of start there step one with everything. Because
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to take, say, one seller, because I'm calling people that are tax delinquents or pre-foreclosures or probates, that might end up
Right.
becoming an agent lead, right? Or might become a
Right.
wholesale lead. So I always start there because I'm marketing and I'm just getting my message out there. Hey, do you want cash for your home or are you looking to list your home? Right. So I start
Mm-hmm.
there for my wholesale business and then that can branch out into other things. And one of my biggest things really that's helped me as far as like a realtor, real estate agent, a wholesaler is my title
Mm-hmm.
company. The title company that
Okay.
I use has made my life so much easier because once I'm able to get that deal together, rather whatever kind of deal it is, then it's a matter of okay, title company, what do I need to close this thing? They're a big part of my
Yeah.
process, right? So shout out to Michigan Investment Title out in Romeo.
Most
So they're
definitely. I've heard
yeah,
nothing but good things about them, by the way. So
yeah, I've been using them for years. So they're a big part of my process when it comes to getting a deal closed. Cold calling is a big deal, a big thing for just getting leads in, and then me being able to figure out what type of lead it's going to be. Um,
okay.
and then as I bring them in, um, for the fixing and flip, it's funny because I have a whole contractor guide in my Microsoft OneNote of what kind of toilets can I buy? How much is that toilet?
Got it.
Vanities, contractors. So when I do a fix and flip, because I've done a couple already, I literally go right
Mm-hmm.
to that thing and I say, okay, I already know what toilet I'm gonna get, so there's no need for me to go in there, right?
Yep.
I already kind of know how much it's gonna cost. So when it comes to my fix and flip, which also kind of goes into my rental process as well, I
Yeah.
already know what materials I'm looking to use. So I like those are things that I've developed, and like you said, processes are everything. It just makes things a little bit easier. You don't have to second guess stuff, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
big on creating a process, reworking it until I get it right because you really never get a perfect process, but when you can get it to
Yeah.
work, that's all I'm trying to do, and it makes things easier to run when I'm a real estate agent, a wholesaler, or I'm fixing and flipping because I know that where it's starting and where it's stopping.
Oh, most definitely. And that's the biggest thing is that uh the processes that you use and how you go from start to finish. Now, out of these processes, how many of them are you pretty much hands off on?
Probably the when I do a fix and flip, those are ones I'm
Hmm.
like hands off on, right? So I'll order the materials, I'll get them shipped there. I usually have my team, pretty much go and tell me what I need and I verify. So I'm pretty like hands off on the fix and flip part of it. I'm always
Okay.
going to the property though and checking up and making sure things are
Yeah.
done. But I'm pretty hands off. Like I'm not touching a hammer or picking up a drill.
Hmm.
In the agent side, in the wholesale side, I'm pretty hands-on because again, I'm cold calling. So I'm kind of waiting to generate those leads. So I'm pretty hands-on in that area when it comes to the lead
Okay.
generation. But when it comes to like the fixing, the flipping, and the rentals, I'm a little more
Hmm.
hands-off because I'm just like trying to just go to my exit strategy. And at
Right.
that point, you're kind of pushing checks, right? Pushing checks and making sure you get inspections. But I'm like way more hands-on when it comes to like the wholesale part and just being an agent. Um,
Hmm.
so that's the part I'm kind of more hands-off on is the fix and flips and stuff.
That's awesome though. So because my thing is this, the more so you develop processes so that you can become hands off. Okay.
Yeah.
Now it's not to say you're taking yourself out of everything. It's to say, okay, I'm going to put a process involved where maybe I'm in the beginning, I may be checking it up on the middle, and I'm in the end,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
everyone else is doing work in between where that frees my time up to do other things,
Yeah. And
you
that's like
know?
even when I had a virtual assistant, I've had a couple virtual assistants, and that they have helped me be hands off. Right, I don't have one now, but I did have one I had for like almost 2 years. Then I had a cold caller and an admin, and at that point, they were just doing their thing, and I was just kind of checking up on them, making sure we were getting leads in,
Yeah.
and we were getting things skip traced. And I did enjoy that. I did enjoy it a lot. It
Hmm.
is just work though. You have to always follow up with them, but that
Yep.
is one way to become more hands off if you don't want to do the marketing, which I kind of enjoy a little bit. But if you want to
Hmm.
be more hands off, virtual assistants were great though. And she just reached out to me earlier at the gym looking for work. And I was like, you know what? Hit me up at the end of February because I think I might need to use her. So that I don't have
Yeah.
to do admin work, and she could do that and I could just kind of focus on something else.
Most definitely. And so I have a few students that I'm actually teaching about wholesaling at the moment, and I actually went through a solid course about systems,
Hmm.
and part of the systems in there, basically, we talked about virtual assistants, and I went over on how to hire a virtual assistant and how
Definitely.
to interview them, how to talk with them,
Hmm.
and whether it be somebody from here, whether it be somebody from another country, it's all the same, you know.
Yep.
So um, the biggest thing is now you're stepping into a role of somebody doing things to now you're stepping into the role of a boss, and it's not for you to act ignorant or do anything. Now you got to be a teacher, you
Hmm.
know. You got to
Yep.
be, you got to be a teacher and know when things are being picked up pretty fast and then when things are just being dragged out.
Absolutely.
So, I always say, like, hey, I'll give anybody the chance, but I'm going to be pretty quick to, like, if you don't work out, I'm going to be quick to fire you. Sorry.
Mhm. Yeah, slow to
Because
hire,
time is
quick to
money.
fire. Yep, slow to hire,
Exactly.
quick to fire, man. I mean, that's how it goes. Yeah.
Yep. So, you know, now with that being said, obviously you've had virtual assistants, you've had, so going through this, do you have anybody here like and working for you full time, say whether it be an assistant or whether it be a contractor or anything like that, or do you sub everything out?
Yeah. So no, I don't have like an assistant or anyone full time. But when it comes to my fix and flips, yeah, I have like my contractor who's pretty much my main guy, right? He's my go-to guy.
Yep.
And I have pretty much a go-to plumber. So
Hmm.
go-to plumber, go-to electrician, and we all kind of work in sync. So when I do get a property under contract and I'm like, hey, I'm looking to buy it, we have a process and I have a guy, boom, call him, and then we have a whole thing that we do. So as far as on like the renovation side, yeah, I definitely got a
Hmm.
team of people that I can call, and they're pretty much the same team that I've been working with from my first house, and then I've kind of got a
Yep.
solid team to where it's like I know this guy's gonna go out there and do his thing, just go and trust and verify pretty much,
Yep.
and then get things moving. So on the renovation side, yeah, I got a team, and they're pretty solid, man. They're great. They work with me till the end.
Yep.
And they're willing to even teach me, right? And I'm always learning.
Yeah.
Every house that I get, man, I'm like,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
kind of like, I'm kind of looking to learn, and they're always telling me things like, hey, next time look out for this, or even buy materials. So they help me as well. So they're a big part of my team, and that's who I always go to when it comes to my fix and flips.
There was once a day that I would pray for you. I'd go and misbehave just so you'd notice too. Sneaking looks up and down from across the room. And damn, what a hell of a view.